Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Hannah, and I am from Hearts Need Art. So thank you for joining me. We're going to be doing some April flowers today on our paper pad. So I hope you guys have fun with it. We are going to need some acrylic paint or watercolor paint, some paper plates and brushes, Q-tips, of course that water, and some napkins if you have napkins. So I hope you guys have fun with it. What we're going to be doing with this one is we will be starting off upside down first, and then we're going to flip it we're going to flip it the other way around, and then we'll actually make some flowers with our Q-tips. And you can do these flowers with your, like I said, watercolor, but acrylic paint would work best with this one. So I think we can get started. I'm going to show you my little plate here. I just have a paper plate. I always like to get my white paint. We'll be using the white paint a little bit later, not so much now. I have some yellow paint and I have some green paint, and I can get started now. So let's do this. If you are tuning in, thank you for being here today. It's so nice outside. I don't know if you guys have been out, but it is really nice. So what I'm doing here is pouring out some acrylic paint. You can use any acrylic paint you have, like the stuff from Walmart would be great too. I just happen to have like these little ones here. So I think they're like $1 each, something like that. So super easy. Green and yellow. And the reason I say green and yellow is because it's really nice to have two different varieties on our paper when we do our drippy flowers. We will be flipping it upside down for this portion. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of the picture frame for a moment. Well, for a long moment. That way you guys can see exactly what I'm doing much more clearly. So I'm going to be starting at the top here, and I may actually move my easel down just so you guys can see how I'm starting. I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to water down my paint quite a lot. And I'm doing that because I want that paint to drip down and create the foliage, create the grass, create the stems that I'm going to be working with. So I'm going to hide behind here. Now I have my paper plate, and I'm going to get my paintbrush here. I always like to use a pointy brush. I'm going to get my water, and I am going to water some of this paint down for a bit, like that. I used a lot of water. I want even more water. We're going to be looking for a soupy consistency. If you think of, I don't know, chicken broth, something like that. And then in addition to our soupy water, we are going to get a little bit more. All I did was dip it in just a little bit more. Take it to the top, smear it, squish it, whatever you want to call that. Let it drip down. If you think you have too much water, then you probably have just enough. Refill your brush anytime you need to. Scrape it along the top, drag it along the top, squish it. Now you see how up there it wants to drip down, but it's not dripping down. I am going to take my brush, get some more water, and have that, put it right on top of that. And yet again, I'm going to put some more right on top of that. Like I said, if you think that that is too much water, it's perfect. So what I can do now is take some more yellow paint. I want you to see this here. Ta-da, yellow paint. And I am going to mix that in with my green in order to make like a much, much lighter green. If you think of really, really bright spring green, that's what we want. I'm looking for like a springtime new green, and I just want to show you what it looks like here. Mix, mix. That really pretty emerald. Is it emerald green? It may not be emerald green. And I am watering it down quite a lot more. Okay, it's very soupy. Going for it. Put it right on top of what you have. Notice how I am not really even paying attention to being perfect with my brush strokes. Just put it on there. I actually just grabbed more water. And you see how it's only dripping on those areas that are already formed. So I have to try and make some new paths there, make some new pathways. Now, something to keep in mind whenever you're doing this, you have that napkin there, and that's to wipe off any kind of mess that you have, that you might have dripping up on the top there. See that? I had to wipe that down. So keep that napkin handy. Now I am just going to take a little bit more of my new emerald green, and maybe just put a little bit right there. I just really want that to be so much brighter than it actually is. So I'm going to leave that alone right there. And I'm just going to give it like a moment to drip and dry. Just going to let it do its thing. Not going to do anything more except for that one. I think I kind of want this one to go down. If you feel like there's not too much water, then you are welcome to flip it back right side up. So I think I'm doing pretty good right there. And you see, all I did there was smear it across. Didn't really pay too much attention about brush strokes or anything like that. See? Not too bad in my opinion. Now I'm going to have some really, really tall flowers here. So I'm really excited about these tall flowers. I think I might actually make some blue bonnets for that one. So let me go ahead and move my easel up a little bit. And while it's taking a moment to dry, I guess I can just tell you a little bit about our organization. We actually work with a Methodist hospital, and we work to give patients the kind of emotional support that they need during these really, really stressful times in their lives. We have music, we have the arts, so myself, and we have Jaime, and we have piano players, ukulele, Jaime plays guitar. We have a lot of musicians and a lot of really good, amazing things to look forward to. Judy is also a writer as well, and she does writing sessions with patients too, so that's always really interesting and really fun. I think it's had a moment to dry, so this is actually the really fun part. I have here with me some Q-tips. Ta-da! So Q-tips are what we're going to be using to make our flowers on top of our stems. And while I give this another moment to dry, let's choose some colors. I have blue here. Are there any color suggestions out there? I have a lot of different colors. I have light pink. I have a dark blue. I have a light blue and a purple. I was just going to stick with blue bonnets, but I don't need to stick with blue bonnets. So if there are any suggestions, I will take a moment to let you guys put those in there in the comments. I always really love feedback from you guys. I love seeing what you guys have to say and seeing your artwork if you happen to do any artwork. We have orange too, if anyone wants to do some orange with me. So I always like to start with the darker colors first. Oh, yay, pink, cool. I will do pink. I will do dark pink first because I love this color. This is such a pretty color. Now I'm going to go ahead and pour this out. And what I'm going to be doing is dipping it. I'm actually going to pour all of my colors out. I have a dark blue here too. Any other color suggestions from you guys? I have pink, I have dark blue, and anything else? Sunflowers. Oh, yes. So let's do a little bit more yellow in there. I'll see if I can make a sunflower. We'll see how that turns out. Sunflowers, they have brown in them. So I'm going to pour out a little bit of brown so we can make our sunflowers. Let's see what we can do with Berber daisies. I don't know what a Berber daisy is. We'll stick with sunflowers, but I'll look that up later. Yeah. Um, so brown, we have what else? Orange. So the reason I'm pouring out all of my colors first is because I want to be able to just dip into there without even looking at it too much, without having to stop or anything. So I've got all my colors. I have my white in the center. And remember, I did say that I was going to start with the darker colors first. Then I'm going to add white on top of it. So I'm going to disappear or hide behind my canvas for a second. I have my handy dandy Q-tips. And let's tap, tap, tap some of my color. And let's start with this here. Tap, tap, tap. I'm going to start by making the bottom area my whitest part, but later on as I'm going, I can like thin it out a little bit at the bottom if I wanted to. All I'm doing is tap, tap, tapping up the line that is the stem. And it's really just kind of meditative to do this. All I'm doing is just tapping. And it's really fun to see the colors mix and mingle. You'll see what I mean when I add the white paint on top. Now I can fill out the middle if I want to and make it a little bit bigger in the middle by tap, tap, tapping around. I can leave some white spaces in between if you see those white spaces. I am going to be mindful of how many taps I make there, because now that I have a really good portion up there, I'm going to tap my dirty Q-tip into the white paint just on the side here, not in the middle, and then start on the top, perhaps even above this line, perhaps. Tap, tap, tap together. Overlap that pink. Gonna get some more white paint just on the side again. And I can tap, tap, tap and layer all of these little taps. If you ever tune into any of my other videos, I always talk about brush strokes. And I was just about to say, put some brush strokes here, put some brush strokes on the top. That's not correct. Gonna get more white paint and keep layering those together. And if I wanted to, I could make this taller. I could modify it by making it a little bit wider if I wanted to, like so. It always helps to take a step back from it and look at it as a whole. I always do that with every single one of the pieces that I'm doing. I always look at it as a whole, just so I can see where I'm going with it. Oh, let's see. Perhaps I should add another color in here. Perhaps maybe orange. Now, I still am using the same Q-tip, the same end of the Q-tip. But I want to show you what it looks like when you blend colors. I'm tap, tap, tapping it right on top of the pink here. And the more I tap, the more it blends. So it's up to you if you even want to do that. You really don't have to. But it's just a nice little effect. And if I wanted to, I could also go back and forth from one color to the next and blend it by tapping. It's just really relaxing to do this. So I actually did this project at the hospital one time. It was one of the last projects that I did before COVID-19 kicked in and we couldn't go back in. But so much fun to do this. patients really enjoyed it. At least that's what they told me. And they honestly, like, their work came out beautiful. It really did. So I'm going to move on to another flower, perhaps that sunflower that somebody mentioned. So I can flip this around if you are short on Q-tips. You can just flip it around and use the other side. And let's just start on the top here and see where it goes. Perhaps where you guys can see. There. So because it's a sunflower, I am going to start with my yellow. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see how many petals we can make. We can tap these petals in if we wanted to. I always like to start in the middle here. So here's a little space saver, a little placeholder, I guess. Tap the middle of the petal and then make it get a little bit thinner, make it cone out. I'm going to do this with each and every one of my little petals. And if you wanted to make a little outline like that, you could. I also wanted to remind you guys that if you wanted to, you could actually make a little note to a patient or a caregiver on our website. You just have to go and click on a link that says Get Involved, and you can actually write a little note to somebody who is in the hospital. So a nurse staff or a patient, anybody you want, just to sort of, I don't know, tell them how you feel, encourage them in their journey, anything you would like to say to them in that regard. I really do miss being over there. I miss being over there with the patients. That was one of my favorite things to do. Even if all I did was sit there and listen to people talk to me, if that is the only thing that I did that day, it was well worth it. I used to work in the outpatient setting and in the inpatient setting as well. We would do group classes and window painting, bedside art. So, how are my sunflowers okay? I hope they're okay. So I think that I will put just a little bit of orange in there. Not a lot. And the more I tap this orange into the yellow, the more it blends. Like so. A little bit goes a long way. So I'm going to keep going with it. There. So if you are able to donate to us, that would be amazing. If you can always click on the link, heartsneedart.org/donate if you would like to do that. Just so you guys know. So because my Q-tip here, it has a lot of orange, and I don't really want any orange anymore. Let's switch Q-tips. Do something else. So Q-tip here. I think I want to add some more orange, or some more yellow, not orange. So perhaps I can add another little one here. What do you guys think of that one? Not too shabby. Perhaps another one there. And then now I can still take this dirty portion and I can get my brown and tap in the middle now. I like my sunflower. I hope you guys like my sunflower. I really like this guy. What other kind of flower should I make? I was thinking I might make another one of these guys here. So perhaps I can switch to my blue now and maybe make one on the side here. I think that would be okay. I am just going to flip my Q-tip to the other side now. once again, start with my dark color. And let's go for the next one. Perhaps this one can start down here. I'm going to hold that down. This one's going to look a lot more like a bluebonnet. Got that really pretty blue color. If bluebonnets are something that you're aiming for, then go for dark blue if you have a dark blue. And you can also leave some little spaces in between, like that. See how I'm just sort of jumping up and down like that with the Q-tip? Perhaps I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's a really, really faint line down here. Perhaps I can squeeze in another one right next to it. Definitely do want to overlap anything that might be in the way. So you have this bluebonnet here, and you have this flower here. So you can overlap that. Maybe have that one stretch up quite a bit. Maybe I can have this one next to it look like it's swaying a little bit. Swaying, but I don't want it to make it look like it's scared of this other flower. So I'm just sort of filling in this little area here. I don't know if you noticed, but I had made it like scooping away for a second there. There. So I have lots of blue dots. I can now, again, go to my white paint, tap some white paint, and once again, start at the top here and tap your way down. Like that. Now, eventually, it'd be nice to have some areas that are pure white paint. So if I wanted to, after it dries a little bit, so I'd have to wait a bit, I can go in with a clean Q-tip and put some white paint on top of that dry paint. Or I can just glob it on like that. Whatever you feel like doing. Like so. And I can do the next one. Because remember, that next one's really tall. So I want to stretch that way up there. I wanted to remind you guys of an event also that we're going to be having on May 9th. It's May 9th. So we are going to be celebrating Mother's Day, and it's going to be another Create for a Cause event. So if you can join us, that would be amazing. Kids, welcome. We're going to be able to create something for Mother's Day for you guys. That's going to be on May 9th. Mother's Day event. There, lots of white paint in there. And I like overlapping these things, but say perhaps maybe I'd like to distinguish between the two flowers here. Maybe I can add a little bit of pink to one of them. Now, if you remember on the color wheel, pink and blue make purple. So maybe I can pre-mix a little bit. That might be better. You can totally use your palette to pre-mix your colors too with your Q-tip. Got my blue, got my pink. I think I want it to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to add blue. When it comes to color mixing, I always look at it as a balancing game. So if you want it to be darker, add more of your dark color. If you wanted it to be more yellow, add more some sort of yellow. Balance it out with other colors. I may actually give a paint mixing lesson one of these days because it can be really hard sometimes. Mixing paint is actually one of my favorite things to do. There, add more blue on top, and I think I'm all right. See how well you guys can see that. Not too shabby. Let's see. What else can I add? I think maybe I'll just add a few little leaves on the side here and that'll be it. Maybe I can make this leaf stretch up and maybe in my imagination, these leaves or these stems here are just really, really, really tall flowers. So perhaps I can take a clean brush. I said brush, Q-tip, clean Q-tip. Take some green and I don't really want like too dark of a color. So at the same time, I can pre-mix my green right here. And let's say it maybe stretches from here. You can make that little flower shape. You can outline it if you want to. I had to pre-mix a little bit more there. A lot of paint goes a long way. Usually I tell people a little paint goes a long way, but in this case, a lot of paint would be ideal. But if you guys are here and painting along with me, I just wanted to thank you. Thank you for taking time out for yourself and for creating something for yourself. It's really been a long journey for me personally. I have a chronic illness, and painting and doing art has really been something that I need to do now, just for my own mental health and just for being able to relax. It's something that I do on a daily basis. So if you are joining us, thank you for doing this for yourself. You need to do these kinds of things for yourself. I'm going to cheat a little bit, okay? I'm going to do that. I wasn't planning on scribbling with the Q-tip, but I really love the way that looks, so I'm going to do it. There. That could have turned out a little bit better, but that was a lot of fun just scribbling. So again, thank you guys for joining us and for being here. These are my little Q-tip flowers. So if you guys happen to create this at home, please show us. I would love to see all of these things that you create. So whatever colors you want to use would be perfect. So it's all yours. And again, my name is Hannah and I am from Hearts Need Art. Y'all have a wonderful day. So see you later.